The adventure begins. Again. Nekton, survivor of cliffs, time, and alternate realities, has returned. He's no longer soaring through the skies as Feralas, the earth-loving cow of wisdom. He's back where he belongs, Thousand Needles, and by his side, Nibbles, the soul guardian, the raptor of prophecy, the bite-sized beast of destiny, the little guy who chomped demons, dreams, and probably a few squirrels off camera. Nekton begins with unfinished business, quests left behind like forgotten socks in the laundry of destiny. Step 1. Collect some Incendia agaves, a fancy name for glowing cactus spaghetti. Why? Because Magatha Grimtotem asked nicely. And you never say no to someone with the word Grim in their name. As Nekton gathers the sacred herbs, again, swimming across rivers like a feathered Michael Phelps, his mind begins to wander. Why was I Feralas? Was that a dream, a vision, another life? Or maybe I'm both, here and there, split between threads of the same tapestry. Maybe this journey is about completion. Maybe the next truth begins with finishing what I started. But one thing is clear. Nibbles is here, and that's enough to carry us through anything. With the spaghetti plants in his bag, Nekton heads to Thunderbluff. Magatha, still speaking in vague riddles, sends him right back to where this all began, to the fire atop Darkcloud Pinnacle. Hey hero, great job risking your life swimming for these rare plants. Now go toss them in a fire for reasons. Classic Magatha. He arrives at the summit, the place of his great fall. Except this time, he's not here to jump. He's here to light it up. He sprinkles the sacred powder on the fire. It crackles, rumbles, and suddenly the sky darkens. A shadow appears. Aricara. She descends with fury. But what she didn't expect was Nekton and Nibbles. Nibbles charges with the fury of 10,000 memes. It's over in seconds. We skin her, take the loot, and yeet out of there like nothing happened. That fire didn't just summon her. It summoned something in me. A memory, a purpose, a reminder that my journey isn't over. Quest turned in. XP gained. Time to move on. We head to Desolace, land of brown, grey, slightly browner grey, and forgotten dreams. But hey, the mobs are our level, and that's what counts. We meet the Magrum Centaur tribe. Lovely folks, very stabby, so we kill 100 of them. Each one granting us negative reputation, like we're collecting emotional baggage. Congratulations, hero. You're now less like them before. Keep up the good work. But every Magrum we slay earns us favor with their rivals, the Gelkis. Turns out the enemy of your enemy is a quest giver. With our new Gelkis friends singing our praises, well, probably, they hand us fresh quest. Step 1. Kill more Magrum. Of course, these two tribes really know how to settle their differences. Through me. So I return to the Magrum village, and at this point, I'm a local celebrity of fear. Scouts, wranglers, wind chasers, they all go down. Nibbles, he's in his element. Clawing, growling, finishing them before I can even press a button. What a legend. Give that dino a raise, or at least a nice haunch of meat. We grab some dried meat lying around, not fresh, not labelled. No refrigeration in sight. Perfect for a quest turn-in. With a bag full of loot and enemies behind us, we push forward to Thunderaxe Fortress, a burning blade stronghold hidden in the north. The vibes. Very satanic summer camp. We enter, and oh look, cultists, burning blade adepts lining the hall like they're waiting for pizza. We slice our way through, Nibbles dancing like a dino ballerina of death. Then we reach the inner sanctum. There it is, the demon crystal. We equip the demon pick. The room trembles. A level 37 demon bursts forth, hulking, steaming, clearly skipped leg day, but made up for it with shoulder day. He roars. I look at Nibbles. He looks at me. Get him. Nibbles launches. A flurry of feathers, teeth, and righteous fury. The demon didn't stand a chance. I think he apologized mid-fight. We take the demon box as proof, basically a hell Tupperware, and make our exit. The journey begins in beautiful, peaceful Shadow Prey village, home to that one fishing NPC who never blinks. I decide it's time to go back to Stranglethorn Vale and finish all the quests that were too hard last time. They were red, now they're yellow. That's progress, kind of. But before we go, pit stop in Ogre. The plan, train skills, buy arrows, and do everything except the thing I logged in to do. I wander around Ogre for 20 minutes, forget why I'm there, then remember my professions are still capped. I sprint to the trainers only to be told, sorry bro, we don't do that anymore. Apparently the NPCs unionized and now only teach you through vague forum posts and regrets. Fine. I hop the Zeppelin back to Stranglethorn, land of raptors, trolls, and moist disappointment. Raptors are already dead everywhere. Nibbles runs up to one and just starts chewing on it like it owes him money. I begin the Lashtail Raptor quest. Nibbles gets way too into it. He's flipping, tail whipping. That quest wraps up fast. I head north to Hemet's camp to drop off some completed quests, then jog back to Gromgol for fresh ones. That's where Commander Agrogosh gives me the classic, we've got a raptor infestation line. It's not a quest, it's pest control. One quest in particular stands out. Bloodbone necklaces, drop rate, 17%, which means it's completely made up and fluctuates depending on your mood. So I go back out and start the grind. Nibbles is doing full-on WWE finishes on these raptors, while I desperately hope one drops the bones I need. I get one. I smile. I kill 30 more. Nothing. Eventually, I'm halfway through level 36, with maybe 12 necklaces. Nibbles has now formed a personal vendetta. I fly to Thunderbluff to vendor junk and grab more arrows. The arrow guy gives me a look like, back so soon? Yes I am. Please don't judge me. I'm fragile. Back to the jungle. I wipe out another 100 trolls. The drop rate doesn't improve, but my emotional damage does. After what feels like a small genocide, I finally get all 25 necklaces. Nibbles immediately eats one, just for spite. Nimboya then sends me to Zul'Kunda for 20 shrunken heads. Because what says spiritual cleansing like stuffing a backpack with skulls? He says it's to make sure none of them belong to Yenneku. I nod like that makes sense and head off into the ruins. Halfway in, I realize I need to kill headhunters specifically. And that's when I meet Fumler, an undead warrior who clearly skipped every tanking tutorial and pulls 3 mobs to impress someone who isn't there. He starts dying. I fire multi-shot, send in Nibbles, who immediately goes off to sniff a plant instead. I guess herbalism is his true calling. Fumler invites me to group. We team up. It's going well, until it's not. He charges into 5 more trolls, gets pinned, and we try to run. A troll respawns in my face. Nibbles is too busy examining a mushroom. Somehow, we live. Quest complete. XP secured. Now, it's time to knock out Moktardin's enchantments. That means hunting stealthed Shadowmoor panthers, which is code for they will maul your kidneys while invisible. But I'm a hunter. I hit track hidden, and suddenly the jungle lights up like I turned on night vision. I tag them from range. Nibbles sprints in like a gremlin possessed and delivers his signature kill move. A mid-air tailspin, followed by an overdramatic death scream. Panthers down, easy. With blood still fresh on our claws, we make our way to the ogre camp. I'm expecting trouble, maybe some chaos. But nah, it's a full-on slaughter. I walk in, see the first ogre brute, fire an arrow. He dies. Second ogre tries to run. Nibbles cuts him off with a raptor dropkick. Every ogre we pull just folds. No near-death moments, no panic, no wipes. Just clean, surgical ogre deletion. At one point, Nibbles was dual-wielding 2 ogre femurs and still had time to dance on a corpse. I didn't even loot most of them, just left them as a warning. Quest done. XP flows in. Jungle justice served. And now, it's time. Portals of the Legion. Last time I was here, we got absolutely obliterated. Walked in like heroes. Got humbled real fast. Nibbles ran. I feigned death. We both died anyway. It was traumatic. But now, we're stronger, smarter, angrier. I returned to the crater. Portal Guardian still there, probably thinking I forgot. First pull, clean, dead. Second, melted. Third, one tries to hit me with a spooky debuff. Too late. Trap, multi-shot, dead. Revenge, delivered. We finish the quest and walk out of the crater like kings. Nibbles is wearing one of their horns like a hat. I don't stop him. He's earned this. With everything turned in, and bags full of troll parts, panther fangs, and emotional closure, I decide it's time for the next chapter. Arathi Highlands. The journey continues, right where we left off, at the sacred shrine of all adventurers, the mailbox. Some heroes begin their legend in ancient ruins, others in forgotten temples. Us, we begin in front of government-issued metal hoping gold magically appears. That's real spirituality. And look at this, 18 gold waiting for us, bringing our grand fortune to 62 gold. Not quite wolf ownership levels yet, but hey, progress is progress. Every copper is a step, every quest, every hunt. A little closer to that mount, and a little further from being that barefoot orc sprinting across continents like I'm late for my own life. Now comes the big mystical arc, Misrael's Shard. First I gather motes from kobolds. Easy. Except kobolds have the combat strategy of sprint in circles and yell things. Still, I collect enough sparkles, dive into a cave, hand them over, and Misrael starts whispering through the rock. You have loosened my shackles. Lady, I'm just here for loot. But sure, let's unlock ancient evil. What could go wrong? Next, she wants me to gather 3 keys from elemental-infested shrines across the Highlands. Circle of East, Water Boys. Circle of Outer, Sappy Boys. Circle of West, Fiery Lads. Except this time, a human paladin had already mopped up the whole area. I walk in, grab the key, tip my hat. Nibbles peed on his leg. Keys in hand, I go to the inner binding to unlock the final seal. Misrael thanks me with the urgency of someone who just got promoted out of jail. She now wants me to kill Fosrook and grab the Rod of Order. I check the level, Red Elite. I nudge Nibbles. He looks at me like, you first. We turn around like we forgot something in Stranglethorn. Speaking of which, it's time to wrap up all the unfinished business. First stop Orgrimmar. Toss more junk in the auction house, hop the Zeppelin to Gromgol, and kill a massive elite crocodile like it's a Disney villain. Then into Zul'Kunda to take out Nezliok and Ganzula. I teamed up with a human warrior, opposite faction. Very touching. Nibbles refused to help him. Petty raptor energy. We clear out the venture company for their blue crystals. Then it's jungle stalker claws, feathers, and whatever else the voodoo NPCs want for their cosplay rituals. I kill so many raptors I'm starting to dream in dinosaur. After all that, I swim down the coast and stumble across stone-scale eel swarms. Jackpot. I fish like an absolute lunatic. Those things go for 1 gold each. I swear the ocean whispered, buy low, sell high. Back to Ratchet, throw it all in the auction house, check the mail. 8 gold. Now I'm at 70 gold. I can practically smell the saddle leather. But first, Cape of Stranglethorn. We kill sandcrawlers for legs, then some elderly gorillas for giblets and sinew. The giblets dropped like candy. The sinew took 40 kills and a mild breakdown. I was one more gorilla away from questioning the fabric of reality. Next stop, Gilneas, a foggy place that screams, don't trust the soup. I grab a few easy farm quests, take the flight path, check the mailbox. 21 gold from my eels. That brings us to 106. I slam my Hearthstone blaze to Ogre and sprint to the riding trainer like I'm in a Rocky montage. He offers 3 mounts, brown, dark brown, slightly less brown. I grab the plain brown one. Nibbles stares like I just adopted a potato with hooves. Time to celebrate. Dustwallow Marsh. I've avoided this place like taxes. Grab all the quests at Brackenwall Village and head out. First, 10 spiders for white meat, because Ogmar, the town cook, has 0 standards and probably runs a food truck called Bug Guts and stuff. Then it's raptor claws for Tharg, who apparently needs them as a gift for a friend. Buddy. Flowers exist. I rip through Blackthorn Village, loot a blue Tiger Strike mantle, find stealthed Theramore spies, bash murlocs for heads, and clean out deserters hiding in a cave. Return to town, mount up, and realize I did all that for 1 brown wolf and a quest that wants me to walk into an elite fight holding a magic stick. Perfect. Then it's time for stealth mode, which for us means swimming awkwardly under Theramore docks like 2 crocodiles who failed breathing class. We grab the captain's documents. Clean run. No drowning. No drama. We are evolving. Then spiders. Darkfang spiders this time, for their juicy legs. Every time someone describes food like that, a priest somewhere loses faith. We deliver spices again, because this one guy apparently runs entirely on seasoning and hope. Then the real gauntlet. Dark mist recluse spiders. 40 of them, collecting unpopped eyes, which implies someone, somewhere, popped one once and regretted it deeply. I won't lie, curiosity got me. I tested one. Nibbles tested too. They make a sound. We don't talk about it. Quest done. Sanity dented. We leave the swamp before it absorbs us emotionally. Back to Stranglethorn. Clean up quests. Fight trolls. And join a small crowd waiting for Chucky the troll to respawn, like it's a concert, and we all showed up too early. He pops, we clap him, ring secured, friendship temporarily suspended during the tagging window. And with that, the jungle chapter closes, and the desert calls. Tanaris ahead. Different biome, same hunger, same broke orc energy. We roll into Gadgetzan, the land of sunburns, scams, and small green businessmen who'll charge you rent for breathing near them. Basically Arizona, but with worse customer service. Grab the quests, shake the sand out of my boots, and head east to Steamweedle Port. The goblins there greet me like old friends by immediately trying to sell me something I already own. Nibbles almost bit one. Honestly, would have been fair trade. We grab their quests and move on to the Waste Wanderers. Desert bandits who apparently cornered the world's water supply. So here I am, doing my civic duty, killing dehydrated men for their water pouches. Feels morally grey, but I'm also parched, so circle of life I guess. Back to Gadgetzan, hand over the pouches, and they give me a water care package. Thanks. I'll treasure this hydration starter kit for the next 5 minutes. Next up, the local genius engineer, Build Your Whizzle. Guy looks like he hasn't slept since alpha testing. He's missing his Divino-matic rod because some guy named Sergeant Bly borrowed it and never returned it. How are you going to lead a treasure hunting crew when you still owe people their tools? Then there's Wastewander Justice. Sounds noble, right? No, it's just corporate PR for the Gadgetzan water company. Apparently, I'm now doing hit jobs for a privatized desert utility company. Late-stage capitalism, but make it sandy. Justice served. Moral compass spinning. We ride east to the coast. Time to kill South Sea pirates for 40 pirate hats. Because clearly, the water problem wasn't enough. Now we're running a fashion show. We drop their boss, Andre Firebeard, before he even finishes his evil monologue. Hunter gameplay, baby. Click once, collect loot, feel nothing. Then kill his 2 backup dancers because they refuse to respect personal space. And that's when I realize I'm out of arrows. The hunter's greatest nightmare. Like realizing you left the oven on, but the oven shoots back. So we head back to town, refill on ammo, toss some loot on the auction house, the MMO version of doing laundry. On the way back to the coast, I knock out a few side quests, use the untapped dowsing widget at the Sandsorrow waterhole, which sounds less like a tool and more like a rejected dating app. Grab golden glass-hide scales, murder a few gusting vortexes for something called harmonized sand, which sounds like a spa product from the goblin version of Lush. Then it's time for Caliph's Scorpid Sting, the local scorpion king with 2 rogue bodyguards. We take him out clean. Nibble's got a little venom on him, but he's fine. Built different. More Wastewander rogues, assassins, shadow mages, all with the same dream. To die tired in the desert. I respect it. Finally, we hit Lost Rigger Cove for the South Sea shakedown. 100 pirates later, I've lost track of time, sanity, and any sense of purpose. I've slaughtered half a naval empire for 12 silver and an ugly hat. And then, it's time. Zul'Farak, a troll city buried in sand and regret, where dreams go to die and loot rolls go to someone else. We zone in. The team? Tauren Shaman tank, 2 hunters, 1 warrior, 1 druid healer. A perfectly balanced group, if your definition of balance is chaos. Mujak, our shaman tank, leaves for a snack mid-run. We wait, patiently, because this is WoW. And waiting is 60% of the game. He said 5 minutes, and I aged 3 expansions. He comes back, we pull. Patrol lads come in. Mujak dies and says, "Seems like I'm taking too much damage." Yeah, bro. That's what happens when your tank is technically a medium-sized lightning rod. We push forward, kill Antusor, then Witch Doctor Zumra. Make it to the stairs where we free Sergeant Bly, the very guy who stole Build Your Whizzle's rod. Talk about full circle justice. We help him and his gang fight waves of trolls down the staircase, then immediately betray him. Balance restored. Rod reclaimed. Spiritual closure achieved. The episode starts where we left off, standing proudly at the Mirage Raceway, sand still in my teeth, and one very important quest turned in. Gazrilla. The Hydra is dead, the crowd has moved on, and I'm holding the greatest reward any impatient adventurer could ever dream of, the carrot on a stick, because nothing says champion of the Horde like chasing imaginary speed buffs strapped to your saddle. With that tucked away, I head off toward Feralas, a zone that, to this day, feels like it was made by a Blizzard dev who finally got 8 hours of sleep and decided to make something peaceful. The shift from shimmering flats to Feralas is wild. You go from blinding salt desert to deep forest, Like walking out of a hangover and straight into a nap. The air feels different here, thicker, alive, and it smells like wet moss and regret. Camp Mojash greets me with open arms, or at least as open as suspicious orcs and Tauren can be toward a half-sweaty hunter. I grab all the quests in sight because that's how we live. No breaks, just paperwork. First up, war on the Woodpaws. Apparently the gnolls around here are getting bold. Fevered attacks, burning tents, probably stealing food. Classic gnoll behavior. They want 10 mains, which makes me wonder, do gnolls have backups of those? Or am I just permanently de-wigging their species? Anyway, after a solid session of fur, blood and questionable loot, I report back only to get sent immediately into Gorduni outpost to deal with ogres. Rock Orhan gives the speech of a lifetime. Their very presence scars this land. Push them back before they expand even further. And I'm thinking, buddy, if I had a gold for every race scarring the land, I could have bought my mount at level 10. Still, orders are orders. I slay the ogres, mages, brutes, and whatever rank smells the worst. Then head back to town for turn-ins. Next up, Woodpaw Alphas, a timed quest with a 1-hour ticking clock. Nothing like panic to motivate a guy. Haddoken Swiftstrider tells me it's about taking down gnoll leaders in rapid succession, which sounds epic, but really it's just killing the same model 5 times before the timer runs out. Done and dusted, literally, because the zone's all dirt and fur now. Then I get sent to kill sprite darters for their wings. Tiny fairy dragons that the Grim Totem Tauren have apparently been capturing. And I'll be honest, they're too cute to kill. I feel like a villain farming butterfly feathers for rent money. After a quick emotional crisis, it's time for a detour. A trip back to Orgrimmar. Couple things to sell, a few auctions to post, and a delivery called Strange Request to drop off in the Cleft of Shadows. Witch Doctor Uza sends me to Neru Fireblade with a shrunken head. Totally normal Tuesday. Neru takes it, gives me a herb pouch to return, and says some ominous stuff that sounds like a sales pitch for essential oils. Back to Uza, who says, "Please, a moment while I perform the ritual." He sprints over to a water bowl like he's about to bless it. But no. My man jumps in the tub and starts capoeira dancing. Handstands, flips, the works. I'm standing there wondering if this is part of the ritual or just leg day gone wrong. After a minute of interpretive bathtub jazz, he sprints back and says, "The vessels are ready." Right, sure. That's definitely how magic works. Anyway, we head north again, back to Gorduni outpost. I realize I forgot to shovel for kobold. Classic me. But we move on to the Grim Totem compound. Now this is where things get spicy. Krug Skullsplitter nearly falls over when I tell him I found Tauren out here. "The Grim Totem clan," he yells, then gives the most metal order in Feralas history. "Let the rivers in Feralas run red with their dark blood." And I'm like, "Krug, buddy, you had me at kill Tauren." After painting the forest in cow blood, I move on to the writhing deep. Haddoken sends me to handle some insect situation, the Zukash infestation. Apparently, these bugs might be driving the gnolls crazy, so I go in, carve through them, and bring back their carapaces. On the way out, I drop Stinglasher, a rare elite centipede whose description says its glands are invaluable to study. Translation: cut this thing open and bring me its goo. Back to Mojej, turn everything in. And then I'm sent back to Orgrimmar again to deliver the Zukash report to Zilzabin Drumlaw. That name alone sounds like someone who sells you bad potions and conspiracy theories. Then it's back to Feralas for Ogres of Feralas. Rock Oren once again hits me with a poetic speech. Travel to the high wilderness. Push them back. The man's like a motivational poster with muscles. After another round of ogre extermination, it's time for natural materials from Uza. He needs 40 metallic fragments and 20 sinews from Freyfeather hippogriffs. And if you've ever tried farming those, you know they drop sinews about as often as real estate leads drop empathy. Then he needs splintered logs from forest walkers, literal walking trees. They hit hard, and when you kill them, you feel like a lumberjack in a Pixar movie. After that, it's thick Yeti hides, because no one can ever get enough of those in Feralas. Then Tallow Thornhoof calls me over with some tragic backstory. Ambushed by harpies, barely survived, still hears their cries echoing. He wants vengeance on the Northspring harpies, and I'm happy to help. Mostly because harpies are like mosquitoes with swords. Quest complete, and it's time to travel again. Back to Tanaris to turn in Screecher spirits for Yekinya. Then it's off to the noxious lair for Pestlezug's bug investigation. He basically says, "We don't know what they are, so go get me some parts." I bring back 5 insect chunks, and I swear he looks way too excited about it. Next, I'm sent to Dunamall compound to kill ogres, because apparently every desert in Azeroth needs its daily ogre purge. Then down to Thistleshrub Valley for Tranrek, who refuses to enter because it's too dangerous. So I go in, clear the entire valley, and find a laden glowing gland, which sounds like something that belongs in a quest and a lawsuit. After that, I head south to the Slickwick oil rig, an old goblin platform near the coast. Up top, I rummage through Kolk's toolbox for his energy regulator, disable 4 control panels. Then I'm told to kill Grex's Shrillfluke for his logbook. You know, just a normal Tuesday again. Then it's time to move north, the Hinterlands. And man, what a shift. From desert gold to mountain green. The air feels fresh, the lighting softer, and the mob somehow angrier. I make it to the small troll town on the far southeast, grab every quest in sight, and set off. First, saltwater snapjaws, 15 of them, all scattered across the coast like they know what's coming. Then Silvermane wolves, 30 of them, half-stealthed, because of course they are. And then cannibalistic cousins for Mystic Yayojin. The Vilebranch are a depraved lot, feeding on other trolls. I kill them anyway, trying not to think too hard about the moral implications. Turn everything in, back to Feralas to grab long, elegant feathers from Freyfeather hippogriffs. 10 of them, finally a drop rate that doesn't feel like punishment. Then I escort a mechanical chicken to the coast with a couple of strangers. Smooth run. Nobody died, which is rare for escort quests. Finally, I head back to Tanaris again, this time to kill a massive elite on the coast and dive into the gaping chasm for the Scrimshank redemption. Alchemist Pestlezug's panicking because his assistant, Junior Surveyor Scrimshank, disappeared. He's probably fine, right? Nope. Just equipment left behind. I find the gear, brush off the sand, and realize this world's full of adventurers who never make it out, and here I am looting their leftovers for XP. As I walk out of the chasm, the desert sun dips low, the screen glows gold. Next stop, Searing Gorge. A new day, a new mistake. Because I've arrived in Searing Gorge, a place so hot the air itself feels like it's trying to DPS me. Nektan steps in, immediately sweating, immediately wondering why I didn't just stay in Stranglethorn and fish or something normal. My first quest? I'm told that to hold the flawless flame, I need a shaft and a casing. Logical, right? Wrong. Instead of getting these from a blacksmith or some magical forge, no, of course not. We get them from dark iron dwarves, who apparently carry enchanted thorium daggers like they're handing out business cards. These guys are walking around with premium custom alloys like they're toothpicks. so I head off to kill tempered war golems, giant hulking scrap metal punching machines. Every time they swing, it sounds like two microwaves getting into a fistfight. Nibbles is in there like, bro, they're literally made of loot. This is personal. Then there's the dark iron lookouts. Lookouts, by the way, who cannot look out. I'm walking straight up behind them, glowing like a Christmas decoration, riding a giant wolf, and they still don't notice me. These guys failed stealth detection harder than I failed math class. Eventually, I make my way into the slag pit, a place that smells like burnt toast, broken dreams, and whatever you find under the stove when you move. Slave workers panicking, taskmasters screaming about quotas, everything is on fire. And there's Nektan, peacefully looking for one specific dwarf whose head I need. I'm basically doing retail inventory in a volcano. I get the daggers, I get the head, I get out of there. But then I need a spyglass and a tuere, items stolen by dark iron dwarves. And let me tell you, these guys drop everything except the thing I need. One dwarf dropped a sandwich. Another dropped one single copper coin, like he owed me child support. Finally, on the 15th kill, the spyglass drops. 15. I've had Amazon packages arrive faster than this. With that round of quest done, I yeet myself out of Searing Gorge and head to Gadgetzan. The goblins there look like they run a used car dealership and a crime syndicate at the same time. Perfect place for an adventurer to relax. Next quest, escorting Tuga the turtle, a creature so slow he makes dial-up internet look like fiber optic. We walk for what feels like 6 in-game months. Finally, we get back to his wife, Torta. And Tuga's all romantic like, "Torta, my love, I've returned." And she hits him with the most realistic marriage line I've ever heard in Warcraft. Where's dinner? No hug, no kiss, just pure disappointment energy. Tuga tries to keep it romantic. Our love can blossom again, and she shuts it down instantly. Get your dusty shell into the ocean and bring mama some grub. This woman is the final raid boss of relationships. Quest done, I run across the sands toward Ungoro. The moon is out, the sky is clear, my wolf is sprinting, and Nektan looks like he's entering the next chapter of his journey. A spiritual awakening, guided by moonlight, and the knowledge that Ungoro is full of dinosaurs. And just like that, the next adventure begins. The adventure continues as me and Nibbles step into Ungoro crater, and instantly feel like we shouldn't have. The air is thick enough to chew. Steam rolls across the jungle floor like the earth is exhaling. Plants sway even when nothing's moving. Ungoro doesn't feel like a zone. It feels alive, and mildly offended that we're here. But the Cenarian Circle sent me for enchanted soil, so I'm knee-deep in glowing dirt while a Tauren overseer shouts like we're rebuilding nature's basement. Nibbles rolls in it like he's blessing himself. That's when it hits me. Ungoro isn't a place you explore. It's a place that tests you. Just as we escape the soil pits, a goblin sprints up with the phrase that has ruined more lives than warlocks. "Hey kid, business opportunity." Suddenly, I'm wading through bubbling tar pits fighting living sludge creatures that smell like boiling headaches. Nibbles gets stuck in one like he tripped into a long-term mistake. Then a gnome named Shizzle asks me for dinosaur wing scales for his flying machine. Before I know it, I'm dodging pterodaxes dive-bombing me like debt collectors. One clipped me so hard the ground filed a complaint. Marshall's refuge doesn't help. The camp looks like a retirement home for traumatized explorers. A troll wants white raptor claws, so I fight half the crater only to find one claw worth keeping and 3 raptors who drop nothing but insults. The slithering scar feels like walking into someone's digestive system. Walls pulse, larvae wiggle. I scrape hive samples like I'm doing chores inside a nightmare. Then it's fire plume ridge, lava eruptions, screaming elementals, the ground punching me back. Nibbles watches from a safe distance like, "Brother, you accepted this quest." Finally, a Tauren sends me to gather ape pelts. Not normal apes, Ungoro apes. These giants throw boulders like stress balls and scream like they know my secrets. I get the pelts and leave before one of them adds my head to their collection. By the time I finish every quest, I'm covered in tar, ash, plant juice, scrapes, scorch marks, and at least 3 different flavors of trauma. But the crater stands quiet behind me. The moon rises, Nibbles trots ahead, and the road to Telim opens, a place where, hopefully, nothing is trying to punt me across the map. Telim. The moment I step onto the island, I swear I can smell corporate panic. The whole place gives off tropical vacation mixed with safety violation. According to legends, and by legends I mean random goblins yelling, Telim used to be the banana capital of Azeroth. Bright jungles, giant groves, fruit so good it allegedly caused a trade war. Now, it's basically a half-abandoned shipping operation held together by rope, duct tape, and goblin optimism. I arrive at the base camp, where every NPC looks like they've had 3 hours of sleep since Cataclysm. I grab every quest they've got, because apparently I'm now the entire workforce. First job, Murlocs on the beach. Sneal Fizwak, a goblin built like a shoelace, tells me the beaches are overrun, and that these Murlocs need to be dealt with seriously, which is Goblin 4. Go commit 20 counts of claw-related violence, and I'll pay you in pocket lint. So I head down to the coast, where the Murlocs are living their best beach day lives, tanning, screaming, and shaking their little huts like they're at a festival. Nibbles sprints in like a cracked-out seagull. 10 Murlocs later, it's basically a seafood buffet. 20 claws, job done. Next up, bananas. Baron Telraz comes running at me like he's been waiting his whole life for this moment. "Kid, I need bananas. Buckets of bananas. Barrels of bananas. Without bananas, there is no Telim." The man is 1 banana away from a nervous breakdown. I run through the jungle collecting ripe Telim bananas off the ground like I'm doing the world's weirdest Easter hunt. A gnome named Tazo wants 3 strange bananas from a tiny side island. He claims he's researching the gargantuan banana, which is either a mythical fruit or a cry for help. I make the trip, steal his forbidden bananas, return to camp, and hand them in. Tazo's eyes light up like he just discovered fire. I leave before he starts measuring me for a lab coat. As the sun lowers across the treetops, claws and bananas and gorilla paws stuffed into my bags, and I know this island isn't done with me yet. Telim has more stories and more trouble waiting in the trees. The final stretch of leveling wasn't majestic or heroic. It was me, Nektan, and the pure willpower of a man who refuses to die at 59. 1 minute, I'm in Winterspring fighting owlbeasts. Giant feathery creatures that look like they were designed by a druid who fell asleep halfway through the sketch. The next, I'm in Felwood. A zone permanently stuck in your PC might be infected energy. This wasn't questing anymore. This was XP speed dating, but the pain paid off. A miracle happened. I looted Skullflame's shield, a drop so rare it makes winning the lottery look common. Straight to the auction house for 1,100 gold, which is basically early retirement money. Between that and pushing leatherworking to 295, at the cost of my entire bank, bags, and mental stability, the grind suddenly felt worth it. And then, it happened. Ding. Level 60. We actually did it. 1 to 60. Now the real journey begins. Next episodes. Pre-raid, best in slot gearing. Then every raid we can get into. Peak Nektan Chaos gameplay, but fully maxed out. He's not done. He's just getting dangerous. Alongside Nektan's endgame, I'll be starting a brand new series. Haven't fully decided the class yet. Maybe a shaman, maybe a priest, but something fresh. A new journey, new jokes, new story. But with everything I've learned from the first 60 levels.